Over the years, I've spent a fair bit of time working in garden centres, and there's one thing that used to always leave me baffled. Customers would happily spend $50 or more on a beautiful plant, sometimes hundreds of dollars on a pot, and then they'd say, "Oh, and can I just get a cheap bag of potting mix to stick it in?" Well, there's an old saying, you get what you pay for, and that's never been truer than with potting mix. Potting mix isn't just a bag of dirt to whack your plants into. Quality potting mix is the result of extensive research, product development and precise manufacturing. There's a reason the plants you buy from the nursery look so enticing. Right from the start, they've been grown and raised in professional quality potting mix. When you put a plant into a pot, you're putting it into a very unnatural position, so you need to try and provide, in a small space, everything that plant would get if it were in the ground. But just what does your new plant need? Well, good drainage with the right levels of moisture, good structure so that the roots can breathe, good support so that the roots can spread out easily, and the right balance of nutrients. I've grown many of my plants for years from seed or cutting, so I will not risk putting them into anything but a professional quality potting mix. To understand the difference between potting mixes, the best starting point is to know what's in them. First off, check out the bag. Only a premium or professional mix will carry the Australian standards red ticks. This means it will best sustain a potted plant and promote quality growth, flowering and fruiting. Professional mix will be made with natural materials from renewable resources such as wood chip or bark. This makes up the bulk of the mix. First, it's fully composted until it has a rich, dark soil-like appearance and texture. Then it's blended with coarse washed sand or similar materials for drainage and structure. Finally, special components are added. Depending on the blend, this will include things like quality controlled release fertiliser, water crystals and wetting agents, and root biostimulants. All of those ingredients and composting and blending work give you a mix that's going to get your plants growing from day one. The mix will be weed-free, provide the perfect balance of moisture and drainage, and contain all the nutrients your plants need. It will also be really easy to re-wet if it dries out. That's the giveaway of cheap potting mixes. They're prone to shrinking and becoming water repellent. Cheap mixes tend to slump very quickly too because their main ingredients haven't been well blended or aged, so they're actually still composting. You'll also find that plants potted in a cheap mix will just sit there and do nothing, or worse, they'll go backwards, losing leaves and looking sick. Okay, so you have your plant and you have your professional potting mix, so here are a couple of tips on potting up. If the hole in your pot is smaller than a 5-cent piece, then you don't need to cover the drainage hole with gravel or filter material. Just add your potting mix. Bring the potting mix up to the right height for the plant's root ball to sit on, remembering that the plant needs to be at the same height in the new pot as it was in its old. And the top of the mix should be about 2 centimetres down from the lip of the pot. That way you'll be able to fill it up with water and it'll just soak in. Now position your plant and backfill around it with potting mix. Push it down gently to get rid of air pockets, but don't compress it. And then water well. For larger pots, you may want to do all of your potting and watering in place as they can get heavy and difficult to move around. I like to mulch my pots with decorative gravels too. This helps retain moisture and also adds a designer touch. Potting mix contains a lot of organic materials that will naturally break down. You do need to bear in mind that you'll need to repot your plants at least every couple of years, and with some faster growing species you may need to do that sooner. It's also worth knowing that there are specialised professional mixes. These are designed for the needs of particular plant groups like natives, orchids, roses and gardenias, even bonsais and bulbs. If you're putting a plant into a pot, it's because you want it to thrive, right? So I ask you, why would you put it into anything but a professional quality potting mix?